Hey friends. I had a moment this morning. I guess it was in meditation when this came through. And it was a moment of, it was like a recognition that I'm going to try and describe here in a minute. But it came from reflecting on this idea that our physical structure, our actual physical body, and even the beyond our physical body reality that we experience is a reflection of our karmic, psychic imprint. That we have a psychic impression of ourselves, and it's like a blueprint, and that is what we're manifesting. So like our body has a blueprint in the form of our DNA for sure, but also in the form of there's an even subtler dimension of energy that is us. It's more fundamentally who we are, even than our physical body itself. And our physical body is like molding around, it's following the blueprint. And so what showed up this morning, because I've had the experience lately of really feeling that powerfully and really, really kind of taking that seriously, because it's the kind of thing that it's easy to sort of intellectually grasp that idea, right? We can understand that. But understanding it and even, believing it, ascribing to it as the way things work, doesn't necessarily mean that we truly, viscerally, and on all levels have integrated that reality. And so it's been showing up more and more recently. It continues to show up in the form of events in my life, in the form of moments of seeing something manifest either in my physical body or in the world, and recognizing it as an outgrowth of this deeper blueprint. And this morning I was sitting and I felt there's an area of my back, kind of low, kind of lumbar region on the right hand side, that feels like it's weakened. It feels like it tends to either collapse and or get tight. It's an area well known to me as a kind of, I would say maybe kind of the central recurring physical discomfort that I feel. And it's not bad discomfort. It's not debilitating. And I, when I do my especially when I do my practices, my qigong and whatever, morning yoga stuff, meditation also helps. It essentially is not, I don't feel it physically throughout the day, but I know it's there, and it keeps coming back. And what I felt this morning was this, I felt myself, I felt it being tight in the way that it often is in the mornings. And then it was like I got a flash that said, I'm allowed to question the truth, the validity, or the reality of this physical pattern. It was like permission to question the imprint. And I'm trying to unpack this in a way that kind of highlights and describes why it felt so significant. But it was basically, there are things, this is what I mean about, just because we intellectually understand that, our psychic imprint is making everything happen, that doesn't mean that we really truly believe that in our bones on the deepest level, so that we actually act and think and choose with that mechanism in mind. It's really easy to have that as a kind of a belief system, but then still subconsciously or semi-consciously believe that certain things are just the way it is. Life, certain things about certain things about my body, certain things about the way people are, certain things about the way the world works, certain things about the way work has to work, certain things about the way money works are just the way they are. And it's that are just the way they are part of our own thinking that always has to be the first thing we question. Because nothing is just the way it is. Nothing about reality just is the way it is. All of it is a product of this deeper dimension of ourselves, where we are manifesting what we require in terms of experience, in terms of what we need to give and receive in order to truly evolve and in order to unravel our karma and become more free. Everything is that. Nothing is just the way it is because it's the way, and so, but I catch myself constantly thinking in those terms and thinking, I'm like, here I'm over here doing all this work, but then money still is this like out. It's like this force. This is a friend of mine who does a lot of work around money. Said it great. He said that a lot of times people will put money outside of the realm of source, outside the realm of spiritual reality. It's like we do all our work, we do our spiritual work to get familiar and to become, to more deeply engage with the deepest level of reality and, the metaphysical nature of existence. But then we still, clearly it's only semi-conscious, decide that certain aspects of life just aren't in that realm. They don't count. They're somehow in a realm unto themselves, and they're just cosmic givens that work the way they work because it's the way they work. And so this physical aspect of me is something that I sometimes can fall into that perspective about. I can sort of tumble into a perspective where all of a sudden, oh right, this is just the way my back is. And something about this morning was like, what if I can genuinely question that? What if I can question the reality of that aspect of my imprint? And what if my imprint doesn't have to be that? What if I can have a perfectly healthy right side of my lumbar region and feel ease and energy flow there? What if that's possible? You know, it's like the first step towards actualizing something else, towards going in and doing the work on the actual imprint, not on some more surface level of like, well, what would I desire? What would I, you know, even envisioning what it might look like, but not really connecting it to what clearly is a deeply held imprint, because otherwise it wouldn't keep coming back. Otherwise it wouldn't hold on, you know. And then as I started to experience that with my physical body, it's like that translates into larger reality as well. That translates into, you know, I had this lesson with Madeline yesterday where she blew me wide open in terms of recognizing the emotional components of my practice and being truly connected to the emotional realm. And there was part of me that was like, yeah, I mean, I've heard, you know, I've got my like laundry list of great pianists, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's how they play. But could I play like that? I mean, that happened very soon after the session. I sort of went into this like, sure, I can step into that emotional vulnerability in a lesson with Madeline, but can I play that way? Why on God's earth not? I literally just manifested it. I literally just got done doing it. but there's part of me that's like, but can I do that? So this is how we know we're in imprint, and how we know that the reality that we're experiencing is one we're creating. We are creating it. I am the only person creating that limitation. And so the feeling this morning on a very kind of fundamental physical level that I could question that, and that questioning that was a separate action from believing that that's how it works. Believing that that's how it works is fine, but it's in the mind. It doesn't penetrate the psychic level where that imprinting is really, where it really is, where it's really taking place, until we get to a far more expansive and all-encompassing kind of consciousness that really does dig in deep and really does allow us to probe into that level and question the structure. And propose a new one. So that's what showed up this morning. Thanks for watching, folks. Much, much love. Appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. Thanks for being here with me. I'll see you tomorrow.